Good days, DIYer. Today I am going to split the transmission from this engine. It's been raining in the past few days. That's why I wasn't able to do any work with this Honda Prelude we have. Hopefully today we can finish removing the transmission from this old engine. So stay tuned and let's do that one now. Okay, now we're ready to split the engine and the transmission. First thing that we're gonna be doing is to remove this half shaft. You have three 14mm here at the back, so you have one on the bottom, that guy right here, and then two on top, and then this half shaft we can just pull it out. And then you can just use your pry bar, try to pry it on this side. Now we'll just put back those bolts, their corresponding holes, so we don't lose them. Now we can go ahead and remove the bolts here that connects the transmission. So you have one on this side, that's one, two, those are 17mm. That's from the engine side to the transmission. And then this one, I already removed this because this is where I put in that bolt when I lift the engine. So you have this, another 17, a 14mm for the starter, and a 17 for the other side of the starter. And then you have this one is also a 17mm, and those are the bolts that needs to be removed. So this is the transmission. Transmission is finally out. Whew. Man, this transmission is really filthy. And it's cleanup time. Okay, for this one, for the inside, I'm just using brake cleaner. And some on the outside too, to remove all that hard gunk. Yeah, I'm just using rubber gloves and some shop towel so I can plug where the axle goes in. And then let it soak for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll be back. Man, my GoPro died on me, but I got the new battery now. This is the only difference from the previous transmission cleanup that I did. This one, I used some engine LML. This is the H22 engine that we're putting on our Prelude. Yep, it is a JDM H22A. The things that we're gonna be doing with this engine is to remove all the existing wiring harness that's left. I already removed the exhaust manifold before because a friend of mine needed one, so I just gave it to him. I will be replacing all the belts here, accessory belt, and also this crank pulley has a crack here, so I will replace this one too. As far as the timing belt and water pump, I will open this one, the cover, and I will inspect it, but I doubt I need to change it. But just in case, if I have to, I have a D&J kit on that side, and all of the parts for the Honda Prelude that we're building is also here. I already accumulated all the parts that I need. So this would be both of the axle, this would be the coilovers. The vendor sent me another distributor that I can use, and an extra VTEC solenoid. Pile boxes, this would be both of the brake rotors, and this one I already showed you on the last video when I was doing a transmission or clutch swap. This one is XCD clutch. This one are the front upper ball joint, those are front lower ball joint. This one are rear sway bar links. These are rear upper ball joint. It's the one that's offset. Yeah, so that's that. And here are random mounts. Engine mount. Got new lower control arms too, both of them. Then this one is tie rod, and I also have front upper control arm. This one already comes with the ball joint installed already, so those are the parts that we have. And then miscellaneous part, the H22 DZ caps and rotors. This is set. An OBD2 to OBD1 jump harness, and new dowels for the transmission. New rear main seal from Honda. Seals are all for the camshaft. And then the end plugs, I have them too. And then H22 VTEC solenoid gaskets and cluster bulbs. Okay, and after removing all of that, this will be the harness. but I will still save this one. I might need a couple of connectors. Okay, what I did next is to remove 4 of the 10mm here for a spark plug cover, so we can access that one, so we can clean it out. And then the next one is to loosen up your power steering, so you can power steering pump, so you can remove the power steering belt. Once that's out, you just undo the bolt here at the back, remove this totally from the adjustment side, and one bolt on the bottom, which is this guy right here. And I will be putting this one back, so I won't lose it. Now power steering is off, and then I also have a brand new alternator that I will be using here, but for now I think I will just loosen up this alternator so I can remove the alternator and the AC belt. Okay, for the adjuster on this alternator, you have a 10mm for the set screw for the tension of the belt, and then you also have this guide, which is a 12mm that you want to loosen up so it can swivel under. And then here on top, you also need to loosen this one up so it can break the tension here on top. This one is a 12mm, this is a 10mm, this is a 14mm. Once that's loose, you can actually push the alternator down, and then you can now just remove the belt. That's your belt. And now for the second can, we're just soaking it with the degreaser. And then after soaking it with the degreaser, we're gonna be rinsing it with pressured water again. Okay, now after cleaning the engine, this is what we have so far. Then now what I will gonna be doing is blowing this engine with air. Then after that, it will just dry under the sun. Okay, so this is the old engine. The one that we're removing now will be the clutch component and the flywheel. I have a new clutch component and new flywheel, but I need the bolts that secures the flywheel. Alright, so you have total of 6 10mm 12-point bolts that holds the pressure plate. The flywheel is held by 8 17mm 12 points. Okay, another progress so far. I was able to remove all the brackets here, all the mount. So this one will be for the power steering pump, this one for the alternator, and this is the AC bracket. The AC bracket is held by 2 14mm bolts at the bottom and two 14 millimeters nut on the top. And then the alternator bracket is held by four 14 millimeters, and the power steering pump bracket is held by three 14 millimeters. And all of them, and all of the brackets are here. I also painted them black. Alright, so that's the progress that we have so far. The next thing that I'm gonna be doing is to remove the cover and replace the crank pulley with the new one, because this one is chipped. I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but it's chipped right here. Okay, now I will be removing the crank pulley, but this one sometimes you can get it with just regular power tools, but this one's really tight, so I'm using a crank pulley tool like this, and this one will just insert here. Like so, it will stop the crank pulley from spinning. A breaker bar to be inserted with this tool, and I'm also using a 19 millimeter to break that bolt loose. And now the bolt is out. And then we also have the key. This is the key. Remember the orientation of the key? The one that is going a little bit smaller, that's the one that's going inside. And this is the crank pulley that lines up here in this keyway once you put it back in. I will be putting all the mounts back. So this is the power steering mount. And then here, the next one will be the alternator bracket. It's held by four 14 millimeter bolts. And then this would be the spot for the AC compressor bracket. The two on top is held by two 14 millimeter nuts, and the bottom is held by two 14 millimeter bolts. Alright, fellow DIYers, I think this is it for tonight. The only thing that we're gonna be doing now is I will be inspecting the timing components, replace the crank pulley, and put the wiring harness, replace the rear main seal, and put the clutch components back in. If you want to check out how to put all those components on this side of the engine, including the transmission, just watch a couple of my videos. I did a clutch replacement on a Prelude as well. Alright, so that's it for today, and I'll see you next time.